See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. 9 days until we can eat candy corn.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, the CW is pulling in the DC show properties from everywhere and pretty much all time.
This is a fun developing story. I feel like there's a little addition every month, so
yeah,
looking forward to this.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's a solo spin-off series that could be in the works.
So solo spinoff. Out of context, people might not know you're talking about Star Wars here, because if they're not looking in our show notes and they see the S capitalized in solo, they might just think like, Chris, this is Hollywood. There's always a solo spinoff series.
A Han Solo spinoff series. There we go. A little less vague. Marvel reveals a trailer for the Infinity Saga. Mm-hmm. And more.
But the most important news is we are 9 days away, Chris, from the candy corn countdown. Ever since we went on that little rant about candy corn like 2 weeks ago, now I can't not look at it in the grocery store, and I'm just like, I really want this candy corn, but I kept telling all these people that I was going to wait until October 1st to eat it. So we're 9 days away until we can officially eat candy corn. So if anybody out there is holding strong to the idea that candy corn season is a rigid time, we got 9 days.
Well, I have found out, Mike, in my quick searches here before the show, that you can get green apple candy corn, which comes in a kind of a greenish, reddish, orangish color, maybe a little white in there. But what you can do with that is actually take that to see the Joker the first week of October, Mike, because I told you you're going to have to. And what better way than eating green and red candy corn than to get you hyped for the Joker?
Man, I think throwing candy corn in movie theater popcorn would actually be really delicious, because you like saltiness just goes really well with candy corn. So yeah, I know you're having some jests here, but I think that's a really good idea, Chris.
Well, do you want the butter from the popcorn that you've added to get all over the candy corn, or you just leave it as is, dry as candy?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Chris, come on. I'm already putting like candy anyway in my popcorn. Usually it's chocolate, so nothing's stopping me from making the popcorn I get at the movie theater more unhealthy. So candy corn season, let me know, people out there, if you're putting that stuff in your popcorn, your candy in your corn. So
candy and corn, popcorn, candy corn, popcorn. Man, this is getting deep. I can't do this. So other than that, Mike, I was gonna say I haven't done. My wife's been sick since like Wednesday, so when your significant other's sick, that kind of puts your plans on hold for a few days while you take care of that. But have you ever seen the show Letterkenny?
Oh, Chris, I love Letterkenny. I've seen every single episode that's available to the U.S. I think there still might be some across the border in Canada. I
think it's become a Hulu exclusive starting with their newest season this year. So I think they're all on there now. But everyone's told me to watch it, and if enough people tell me to watch it, I'm not going to, because I'm like, the hype is overbearing. Like, I can't stand this. So we've started watching Letterkenny, and I haven't laughed this hard at a television show in a long time.
It's really funny. It has this great combination of being from like a quote unquote foreign land. So, they have all of these different kind of euphemisms that might be real, might be fake. I don't know. I'm not from Canada. So it just it's peppered with this a little bit of originality of cultural significance. And then it's just like really weird, just funny stuff.
Right. And I like, coming from a small farming town in southern Indiana, I definitely appreciate the hillbilliness of this by a long shot. So I think it's funny, and I just had to share that I'm finally started this show, and there's 6 episode seasons. It's very, very digestible. So we've been pounding our way through that this week.
I'm just glad you finally figured it out.
Yeah. Well, pitter patter, Mike. What do you do this weekend?
Well, I was drawing a webcomic for the majority of my weekend. It's impossible for me to watch like genre movies and not just think of a million different ways I can just turn it into a joke. So we were watching the first Harry Potter movie the other day because I was in a night drawing class earlier this week, and we're learning to draw like folds and fabric, and it's extremely difficult. But there's usually like background music in the classroom. So the instructor put on the soundtrack for the first Harry Potter movie. And like, man, take all of your opinions out when it comes to Harry Potter. And if you just concentrate on the music, it's astonishing. It's really amazing. It's the first time I had ever listened to it detached from the movie, and it's just beautiful. I mean, of course, it's a John Williams score, so it's going to be amazing no matter what. But, man, it just really brings the whole Wizarding world to life. So I was like, all right, we got to watch the first Harry Potter movie this weekend. So we watched that on Friday night, and, I was just looking at Carrie's stack of gold in his vault, and I was just like, if you give a child that gold, he is not going to understand. He's not going to understand how much one piece of gold is worth. It's like going to a foreign country is already difficult enough, but now you're dealing in like gold, like hard pieces of currency. Like, he's just going to be overpaying for everything. So if you check out my webcomic, you'll see my in-depth analysis of that scene.
Well, and also, like you said, he came from under the stairs. Like, he came from pretty much the lowest level of poverty possible to having like one of the most amounts of money in the world. So
yeah, and it makes you wonder if there's any crossover. Like, is it magical gold where like the currency itself has any magical properties to it? Or is it just like, muggle gold, but just wizards prefer using that type of earth metal? Because like to Harry, like how does this like translate? Is like one gold coin worth like one chocolate frog in the Wizarding world? But if he took that gold coin, just to like London proper, he could like, buy a flat, with it. Like, what's the discrepancy there between the gold? So I had lots of questions, but we were watching Harry Potter this weekend. And then when I'm drawing, I often like, just to have some simple background audio and visuals. So I was like, what's just a good movie that I can just kind of like throw in the background? So I went on your Plex server, sir. Thank you very much. And I watched Ted 2, which I'd never seen. I saw the first Ted, was pretty funny. I had very low expectations for the sequel, which worked out well for me because there's still some pretty funny jokes in there. There's kind of like this weird lull in the middle of the film where they're trying to like do like a civil rights battle for like the existence of Ted, which kind of brings the movie down a little bit. But then a bunch of like semen falls on. What's his name? Not Paul Walker. His actor.
Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg, that's what it is. A bunch of semen falls on Mark Wahlberg, and then I laugh again. So, Ted 2, recommendation if you just need something to throw on the back of your screen. And then, Chris, I was going to let you know, I think I brought up the first season, or the first part, or the first collection, whatever you want to call it, of Jon Favreau's Chef Show on this podcast a few weeks ago, because like I think in episode 2 he sits down with like literally all of like the top tier Avengers, and then they all sit down, they're having a conversation while they're eating dinner. And in collection 2 he goes up to Skywalker Ranch, and he like goes through like their like organic farmland, and they're like picking food, and they're making dinner with the creative lead of the Clone Wars. I don't remember his name exactly.
Oh yeah, you got me. He's got the cowboy hat on.
Yeah, he had a cowboy hat on during the whole segment. So I mean, nothing really newsworthy to pull out of there, but he was in the middle of production on the latest season of Clone Wars, and he was just like, oh yeah, literally after I eat this meal, I'm going to go write the ending for the season. So and then they made a joke of, if you see any characters eating any sort of like peaches because they were cooking with peaches, where he got that idea from. So it was kind of fun. And then like Jon Favreau was, he knew the guy pretty well, because Favreau went up to Skywalker Ranch to mix Iron Man at their soundstage and stuff. So he had a lot of experience up there with their kitchens, and it was pretty cool. So there's definitely some nerdy stuff. There's an episode where there's a one-off line where they're talking about like pigs, and Jon Favreau just very casually mentions, like the pigs in Minecraft. And if I had to pull like a whole rumor out of that, I'm just like, I bet at one point in time, Jon Favreau was attached to like a Minecraft Hollywood property, because I can't imagine like Jon Favreau knowing enough about Minecraft to like be able to relate to the pigs in the game without having to investigate the video game in some way. So I'm sure he has kids that probably play Minecraft, so maybe he gets it from that. But the Hollywood investigative side of me thinks Jon Favreau, rumor, making a Minecraft movie.
Well, I mean, do you think isn't someone else already doing that?
That's what I thought too. And then in the back of my mind, I was like, did they already make the Minecraft movie and I just never saw it? Like, I felt like maybe it was like a direct-to-console movie or something. Like maybe it came to Xbox exclusive and I just never watched it. Because they were making like little shorts or something, right? There was already like, I feel like there was already something going on with Minecraft when it came to storytelling and not gameplay.
Yeah,
maybe it was Telltale Games, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, but that's still a video game.
Yeah, there's a bunch out there, that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, who knows? I mean, we're going to talk about a movie based on a little characters later in the show notes today. So, I mean, he could do that. I think we're also going to talk about a future Jon Favreau property today as well. Mike, you've hit on two very, very solid points without even reading the notes, I bet.
Well, it's a great segue.
No, it is a great segue. Well, first and foremost, I want to say yesterday was Batman Day. Batman's not his birthday, maybe, but like the 80th anniversary of Batman.
It's just one of those millions of anniversaries for Batman. There's like Batman Day, Batman's anniversary, Batman's birthday. It's like Batman's first comic book published.
It's like the third Saturday of like every September, so kinda, I guess it floats. But it was his 80th anniversary this weekend, and the thing I saw the most was in Fortnite they put in Batman skins that you can buy, much like the Marvel ones they did earlier in the year. But they have the Dark Knight skin from the Christian Bale if you want to buy that. And they've got Catwoman and stuff like that. But superfan Jim shared with us on Twitter the animated series, Batman the Animated Series intro redone in the Arkham game style.
It was weird. It was cool, but also hilarious at the same time, because it's interesting to see video game engines like repurposed for people to make cinematics. I mean, that's the entirety of like Red versus Blue at Rooster Teeth. But at the same time, the angles don't exactly translate very well to that Batman model. There's just like a straight on shot of just like Batman from the Arkham game, and he just kind of looks like a doofus, because I don't know if it's just because he's not shrouded in darkness or he's not throwing a punch, but I was just like kind of giggling. So it was fun though.
Well, the thing about that game is you never actually see Batman because you're playing it like from behind him.
I figured, I was like, this cannot be the normal face you see throughout the game. It just looks too goofy.
Yeah, normally times you're over his shoulder doing stuff or working in the X-ray mode that's in there. So definitely it can throw you for a loop. But I mean, I think it was pretty well done for what it's worth.
I saw some outlets on Twitter yesterday just sharing like Batman stuff in general, and someone shared a shot panel from a comic book where Jimmy Olsen somehow found his way inside of a Batmobile. It looked like a somewhat recent comic, with I would say maybe within the last like 5 or 10 years. And like somehow Jimmy Olsen comes to Gotham and finds his way inside of the Batmobile, and he's like driving it around, and there's like a bunch of snacks that are bouncing around inside of the car. And I was like, I want to know where this is from. I want to read this issue. That sounds hilarious. So look out for Jimmy Olsen in Gotham. It was like, don't be like Jimmy. Celebrate Batman Day responsibly. So I guess take a look out for that crossover.
Is like a Ferris Bueller kind of thing, like Jimmy Olsen's Day Off or something like that.
Maybe that would be pretty funny. I love comics like that. I love comics that just kind of like it's almost like a what if, basically. What if Jimmy Olsen went to Gotham?
Well, at the end of it, he had Superman hold up the back end, and he just put it in reverse to remove the miles off the Batmobile that he had on there.
I love that idea.
So yeah, I'm really disappointed I didn't see more Batman 66 stuff floating around, the old Adam West, Burt Ward stuff, because I think those things are so goofy now to look at that I wish there had more memes and stuff out of that come out from yesterday. But yeah, we'll take what we can get. We take what we can get.
It was a light meme weekend, Chris. Everybody was at Area 51.
They're
recovering. They're recovering from their raid, so not as many nerds on the internet posted memes for you.
Yeah. I saw one post today about that. It was like a man with dyslexia accidentally goes to Area 15, and the government's like, they feel sorry, like the people that we feel sorry for him, so we're not going to press charges. So
I have this idea, like, you know how people ask, like, oh, do you want the ability to fly or do you want the ability to be invisible? Then usually they judge you based on what you picked. I feel like if I had the power of invisibility, the first thing I would want to do is go to Area 51 just to check it out, like at my leisure. I can finally see what all this stuff is. But then, knowing Area 51, they probably have the technology to capture me and detect me, because if they got aliens up in there, they're totally catching invisible people. And then they probably just end up throwing you in a cell with dozens of other invisible people, and they're just like, oh yeah, we all had the same idea. So if you're invisible, just be a little careful if you get to Area 51, because you might not be the first invisible person to have that idea.
Yeah, exactly. There's multiple invisible people out there. That's
This is why people subscribe to the podcast, Chris. They need these advanced tips and tricks for life.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any life hacks you want to send our way, we can definitely use them. But yeah, so back on the Arkham games. Warner Brothers Montreal is a studio that made, I think, Arkham Origins, and they've been radio silent on Twitter for 4 years until yesterday. Wow. And they posted this new teaser with the Batman symbol on like a big city skyscraper, but every few seconds there's a glitchy frame, and it's got different things in it. What's funny is that this was literally posted 2 days before Sony's State of Play, which is like their own like little mini E3 they have every like quarter, where they announce new games. So I'm thinking we're gonna see a new Batman Arkham game or something in that universe released possibly tomorrow, or a trailer released tomorrow, unveiling that's what they've been working on.
Well, since they're flashing those logos over this kind of vintage 90s Bat logo, I wonder if maybe that's a hint of what the game could look like. Because I haven't played a whole lot of the Arkham games, but I'm familiar with the visual style. Like, it's a very jacked, beefy Batman. His suit seems to have more of a tactical look, which nothing wrong with that. But maybe they're going to take a different visual direction if they're kind of trying to pay homage to this, like, that's almost like a Tim Burton Batman logo, it almost looks like to me.
Well, so Warner Brothers Montreal made Arkham Origins, which is technically a prequel to the other games. So they may be making one that's not a continuation, but maybe set somewhere else. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Because they're kind of like, they're not the main that company, which I think is like Rocksteady, because they use that, like you said, that Unreal Engine. That's all. Everything looks like it just had a nice shower on it, but there's not a cloud in the sky, because that nice glossy shine. So
it looks like some people in the Twitter comments are connecting the logos to different things, possibly Court of Owls, Ra's al Ghul. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that are still untouched in there, and they've not had one in several years. I think you can get all 4 or all 3 main story games for like a really good discount on most platforms now. So, and if you have a gaming computer, the Epic Game Store is giving them out for free right now. So, well,
this sounds right up my alley, because this is how I play video games. I wait until it's collected into a trilogy or a quadrilogy, and then I just buy the pack. Just kind of like Uncharted. So maybe I'll get around to these Batman games.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll be on what's that? The Stadia for you, and you can just do it that way. So, I mean, it's not a jab at all. But yeah, Batman game, possibly something we'll be talking about next week, in between either Batman's birthday and the Joker release. Crisis on Infinite Earths is one of the biggest storylines to ever come out of DC comic books. Very on par with Marvel's Secret Wars. All these different universes kind of came together to fight this whatever Crisis is. But the CW is doing their own Crisis on Infinite Earth, a 5-part crossover event this fall, and they're adding more and more universes to this lineup that have existed before.
Is the 5-part new? Is that news? Because I think in the past they've it's kind of I feel like it's kind of rubber banded between maybe like a 2-part all the way up to a 4-part, but I think this might be brand new if it's going to be 5 parts. That's going to be pretty beefy.
No, I think it's always been a 5-part for this one, because this is one of the first ones to include Black Lightning in it. So if you count all the shows, Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, and Supergirl, this covers all 5 series right now. So this one, however, they're adding good old Tom Welling as Clark Kent from Smallville. Back. Is it Tom Welling, right? That's the right one? I didn't watch Smallville.
I didn't either, but my wife was very excited when she saw this because she was a Smallville fan. So she sent that to me. She was like, "Look at this, he's coming back," and I was like, "Cool."
Yeah, so they're gonna be able to bring Smallville into this. I think they might touch the Lois and Clark story, but some of those actors are already in Supergirl. Which is also interesting that they're bringing back the Lois Lane from that show, because the actress Erica Durance played Lois Lane in Smallville, and she also plays Supergirl's mother in Supergirl as well. So they're already paying her for one, and they're just going to give her old costume back.
Well, there you go. Well, that's going to be lost on me when I'm watching the crossover. I'll be like, hey, why is that actress playing a different person? But I'll have my wife there next to me to explain all of the Smallville references, so I will be educated.
Yes, and then also the next big thing is that they're waiting for is to see if Lex Luthor from Smallville comes over, because everyone really enjoyed his character in the show, and they're like, ooh, are they going to bring that Lex Luthor over? I'm like, I don't know how they're going to mix all these shows together. Shows that existed dozens of years before this even was an idea. So
they'll be dueling Lex Luthors. It makes me think, what's the plural for Luthor? Is it Luthi? Lex Luthi?
Yeah, or it's just Lex Luthors. But yeah, it's fine. You say Thor? We can put Thor in here. You want to? It's Infinite Earths.
I don't think we ended up talking about it on the show. I think it was last week, but they unveiled the new suit that the Flash is going to be running around in next season, and they finally added the chin strap back to him. So I don't know if people are out there caught up with the Flash, but the last season of the show, they took the chin strap off his costume, and it just doesn't look good. Like, that type of costume needs a chin strap, so they're bringing the chin strap back. So another thing to look forward to of the CW universe.
Well, he's running so fast. How's it going to stay on his head without the chin strap?
Exactly, Chris.
Oh my
Physics.
It is. Also, in terms of this, I don't think that these are going to be one episode appearances. Some of them have multiple episode counts for their characters, so they may show up. The Superman may show up across different ones. I assume he will probably be older than we last saw him in 2010 when the show ended. The other thing I was going to say is Erica Durance is not the only actor to have multiple roles. Tom Welling is going to be playing, of course, not Tom Welling. What's his name? The guy who plays Harrison Wells. It's Tom something.
Tom. I don't know.
It's Tom something. The guy who plays Harrison Wells, who played 8 Harrison Wells from different universes in The Flash. We'll be playing
Tom Cavanaugh. That's
there.
His
it is.
name.
We'll be playing multiple characters as well as Brandon Ruth being both the Atom and then the Superman from the Kingdom Come universe they debuted at.
Man, it's gonna be bonkers. The thing I love the most about these crossover episodes is how they have to do their best to stretch a TV budget. Even during the crossover episodes, I'm sure they get a slightly larger budget per episode in order to achieve what they want to do. But still, it's just a broadcast television amount of gold, if you will. So they have to stretch it the best they can. So I'm looking forward to the bonkersness, and it'll be fun. We'll talk about it on the show. I'll get you to watch it.
Yeah, I mean this is wild. This is the last season of Arrow as well, so there's a lot of stuff at play here. I don't know. Is this when Arrow is done? Is this the last bit of Arrow?
I think that's still a question. I don't know if they've released exactly how the last 8 episodes or 10 episodes. I know it's very short. I don't know if they've quite align that exactly, but it will be close. If it doesn't end with the crossover exactly, it might be just that episode right after that.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like, this has got to be real close to that, because it's wild. It's just wild. So this 5-part series debut this fall, and we'll definitely come back and talk about how crazy this really is. The Birds of Prey movie, and the fabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn, because I hate that title, is give us a new title treatments here, a couple logos. We mentioned this last week. This is only one of the logos here, but again, all the letters have stuff in them. Baseball bat, diamond, a mask here, and then they're also shortening it down to BOPHQ with the HQ written in Harley Quinn ink. So.
They gotta find their here. I'll go ahead and I'll fix the show notes, because the reason they shorten this is because they need a hashtag. So that's the hashtag that they're probably going to run with, even though they should just run with Birds of Prey. because that would just be the most obvious one.
Yeah, the one that's easiest to do here. I'm going to. I thought this was all one big image here, Mike. So I'm going to link you in here the second one where they did the full title, which you can't put this on movie theater marquee.
No, this is gross. I don't like this at all. Like, I think it's clever that the designer was able to find a way to fit all of these different weapons and nods into letters, but like, it's just there's too much shit going on here.
I don't like the writing. I don't like the quote unquote subtitle.
Yeah, pardon my French, but if I had to get even more nerdy into this subject, if you look at the first logo, like this is just like a standard like Photoshop brush that they're using to draw the HQ in pink, and then there's like this weird like fluttering of the pen at the first mark of that H. It's just sloppy. I mean, there's no reason for me to be this critical of this, but you put it in the show notes, so I'm gonna pick it apart.
I'm still trying to figure out what French you just said in that sentence, because you opened it up with "Pardon my French" and I didn't hear a single thing.
Well,
Go on. No, I'm kidding. But I think the Birds of Prey, if they just had that by itself, is fine. Like you mentioned, someone had an Apple pen and just wrote on this on the bottom of it, right below the fanciness. Like that's what it looks like, because it's not very pretty. It's just pink. And what's with the 3 diamond things? I don't get the 3 diamond things.
I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be the
three
MacGuffin
characters?
in the movie. It's gonna be the MacGuffin in the movie. They have to find the 3 diamonds to save Harley Quinn. I don't know.
I think you're overthinking it, but yeah. There's a lot going on here with this, and that'll be our next big connected movie at the end of or start of next year. Titans is currently airing its 2nd season on the DC Universe streaming service, and some early leaks have shown that the main character who started season 1 as Robin will be coming again Nightwing by the end of this series at some point, and it looks like a pretty good live action Nightwing suit, for a blurry photo.
Yeah, for a blurry photo with the most noise possible. See, the person on this phone did not have night mode on their new iPhone 11 Pro yet, so they couldn't do the noise reduction. But yeah, that's definitely a Nightwing costume.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be good not to have multiple Robins running around who are not Robin at the end of it. But I've heard good things about the show and the new, Deathstroke and his kids and all this other fun stuff. Like season 2 looks like it's going to get wild with literally all the Titans characters, you can add into a show, and then they'll probably cancel it at the end of season 2 because they that's what they do over there. Star Wars, we talked about this at the top of the show. Jon Favreau is open to making another Star Wars Christmas special for Disney Plus. Have you ever seen the original one?
I have never actually sat down and watched it from beginning to end, but I've seen at least half a dozen analyzers of it, so I've seen pretty much all of it by now. It's a vestige of the past, if you will. Like, these type of Christmas specials aren't really a thing anymore. Now what people do now is like Christmas episodes of TV shows. So the first thing that pops into my head is like Sabrina on Netflix, had its normal season run, right? And then it ended in I don't know. Well, it all came out at once, but it aired in October. And then when Christmas time ran around, they put out one episode specifically Christmas themed. So that's kind of what people are doing now. The UK's been doing this for a while. They have Christmas specials of Sherlock and I think also Doctor Who. Yeah. So I could see them doing something like that, but it's just like a variety. I don't need a variety hour for Star Wars. And also, it would have to be amazing because they have to redeem themselves. If it was just shitty again, it'd be like, well, what'd you expect?
Well, I think it's one of those things, it's the charm of it. He said, he mentioned specifically the animated scenes that featured the introduction of Boba Fett and that character. He said, that's the best part. Now, I don't want Chewbacca and Carrie Fisher or whoever, Rey, singing some damn life song or whatever again. There are parts of that are absolutely atrocious even for the 70s because it seemed like a very quickly put together cash grab. But the Boba Fett stuff, the animated stuff that even I think went on to kick off the Droid series later on, is considered some of the better parts of this. So if you want to do a Christmas special that was animated and kind of I guess not gesturing as far as Robot Chicken or the Family Guy Star Wars stuff, but still hey, we're having fun with these characters, that's fine. But I don't want the live action goofy stuff that just makes you cringe when you watch it either. Like that's just atrocious.
If Jon Favreau likes the animated introduction of Boba Fett so much, I like the idea of him producing like an animated anthology series for Star Wars. That would be cool. I have a feeling it would wreak havoc on the Star Wars lore, though, because they already have to retcon so much anyway. But if anybody out there has seen The Animatrix, it's just a bunch of animated shorts and a bunch of different styles. Or if you've seen Love, Death, and Robots, same type of deal. I would love to see people do that with Star Wars. That would be amazing. I would definitely sign off on that, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. But I'd be down for that. But Star Wars Christmas special, I wonder if that's going to be streaming on Disney Plus.
Well, that's what he said. He's got to pitch it for Disney Plus. Is what he ended up. He's like, I think you need to pitch it for Disney Plus.
Well, I mean the original one. Like, would the original one show up in their catalog? Because I mean they own it, right? they can.
I worked at a company 5 years ago who the IT team gave everyone a burned copy of this show for Christmas on their desk when he came in.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you what. What if it takes you? Do you remember the Forces of Destiny stuff?
Oh,
the
what is that?
2 to 3 minute clips featuring women of the Star Wars universe. That was on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Now, what if they did this as like something like that, like 2 to 3 minute things that are like totally unrelated, totally off the wall. You know, you're never having, an example, Princess Leia meeting. Young Anakin kind of thing. Like, they just have these weird characters and they merge them all into this.
It sounds like you're pitching the what if idea to Star Wars, which I would be totally on board with. They should just run with this whole what if idea. Like, hey, let's just make a bunch of content that we don't have to worry about fitting into our cinematic universes. We'll just put the word what if in front of it. Yeah. I'm totally down for that.
Well, I mean, I think that's what the Forces of Destiny did. I don't know. I've never really watch them, but I mean, if not, it's no big deal. But like, they could definitely do like an anthology of animated stuff pretty easily, and
they should cross universe it. What if Mike Wazowski? What if Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. landed in Tatooine? What crazy hijinks would ensue?
Okay, all right, yeah, I don't. Sure, why not? Let's go with it. But I'm still saying no. But Mike, how about this? How about I pitch you a solo spin-off series again? Okay. Do I need to break it down? Who it is? It's a Han Solo spin-off series.
Oh no.
There's a rumored spin-off series for Han Solo, a Star Wars story coming to Disney Plus, possibly in the next few years. That focuses not on Han Solo, but the Crimson Dawn and the other underworld criminal moments, including like the Darth Maul characters.
Well, that might be more interesting. I think we've seen all we've needed to see of Han Solo. We've seen his rise in the prequel movie. We've seen his glory in the original Star Wars, where we fell in love with him, and now we have seen his death. I feel like we have explored like every aspect of Han Solo that is important.
Yeah.
So if you're going to spin off, you just got to do a totally different character. Like, I'm still totally down to see more like quote unquote live action Darth Maul, even though I'm sure a bunch of him on screen would just be CG. But yes, he's an interesting character, but I'm sure a lot of people like you would just say, well, if you want more of him, just watch the Star Wars Rebel series, which I totally agree with.
Well, I think it's maybe not necessarily Darth Maul, but this is a good chance to bring back Emilia Clarke's character from the Solo story, who we never see again, or never hear of again. Without having to worry about where did Han Solo go all that time. Maybe he could show up in an episode or something here or there, but like it's not like it's focused on him. But if we had like the underworld criminal stuff, like Darth Maul's still the head, you don't see him every episode, but his presence is felt. And it could eventually tie into the Obi-Wan series, somewhere along the way.
It seems like the Disney Plus itis that we've been talking about with the Marvel shows is leaking into the Disney Plus shows. Like, yeah, sure, give all the Star Wars characters a spin-off show, just like all of the other comic book characters we've been talking about.
But this isn't a character focused thing at all. This is just the underworld thing. Like, hey, remember that cool thing in Solo that we teased you with but never touched on again? Let's follow up on that without having, like you said, to prequelitis Han Solo even more. Be like, what was Han Solo doing all this time? They could even bring in Lando Calrissian, Donald Glover's version, again, to show up how he ended up going to Bespin and being the manager of Cloud City or something like that. I don't know, but we don't need Han Solo.
Yeah, I feel like I might be interested in more of like a long con type of situation here where instead of focusing specifically on like whatever the hell Crimson Dawn was, just criminal underworld in general might be interesting. And then maybe have this criminal underworld develop and show up possibly in a future Star Wars movie, or hell, maybe even The Mandalorian. So at least, they're building something worthwhile, with this series, because I mean, the biggest problem they've had with Star Wars in the last couple of years is just oversaturation of they just hit us too hard. And that's not even me saying that. I'm pretty sure Amy Pascal has said that they ran too hard with too many Star Wars properties. So that'll probably be my opinion on all future Star Wars rumors of just like oversaturation.
Well, but I think if with Disney Plus though, it's less of oversaturation, because there are times when I watch a show on stream and I'm like, man, I wish there was more of this sooner than later. Like, again, example, Umbrella Academy. I'm like, I don't want to have to wait another year to watch more. So if it's a good show, because The Mandalorian looks good, right? I mean, I think we both agree on that. If it's a good show, yes. Movies, I think, can suffer from that oversaturation a lot easier, especially because I guess the theatrical versions of Star Wars are more events, right? You get event fatigue rather than Star Wars fatigue, and the shows are less event based. Like yep, it's here, go watch it, kind of thing, and move on.
Yeah. I guess I can't imagine any memorable events for Cassian Andor coming in the future. I mean, I guess his death was pretty memorable, but I don't think that's going to make it into his show.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can only hope, Mike. We can only hope. Tell the story from his point of view. We're getting Rogue One again, but from his side.
Which is just pretty much the same story.
That's reused footage over. They really saved the budget on that.
They just grabbed the deleted scenes from the Blu-ray and like, hey, let's make a show around this.
Well, that whole half that movie was reshot. Remember, like they were supposed to like live at the end, and then like, nah, they're all dying. But the idea is like Darth Maul at the end of Solo, he is there, but when he shows up in Rebels, he's been trapped in this like Jedi or Sith cave like for a little bit. So there's an opportunity here to move him from this rise of this Crimson Hand to the other show, which would flow his story along a little better. And then hopefully, like you said, we get the live action version of him getting killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that would be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. In that regard, though, shows that we'll never see on Disney Plus, New Warriors is pretty much failed to find a network and is no longer moving forward.
No, that is crazy, because they filmed this thing, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't know if they just filmed the pilot or if they filmed the entire first season. I would assume they filmed the first season.
No, it's just the pilot. They didn't pick. No one picked it up. They didn't go along with the production of the series.
Oh no! I bet, man. Daily Motion seems to be the home for like leaked pilots, so maybe eventually it'll show up on Daily Motion. But I gotta watch this, man.
Yeah, because there was the other show was Marvel's Most Wanted had a pilot they never released as well. This is the other one. A lot of executives, praise this show, but Disney Plus and Hulu were like, no, thank you. From what I understand, is they passed, or maybe they just couldn't make it viable. But it looks like New Warriors is another potential Marvel property that's just been put out to pasture.
At the very least, like, throw it up on the Marvel YouTube channel or something. Like, let me watch it.
Someone give it to Ryan Reynolds. He'll leak it, and then it'll probably get made into something in a few years.
Man, this is fascinating. I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more, because I'm really curious how far they got along in the production process, like how many scripts were written. Because I just find this amazing, because usually Marvel properties don't make it that far. Like, if a Marvel show, if they turn a camera on a Marvel property, usually we're gonna get it. So the fact that this one failed is very curious to me. It makes me wonder if it's good, actually, because if you're just hearing from some people that they praised it, I wonder if it's just a stinker and that's why nobody wanted to pick it up.
My guess is the production cost would be outrageous. To have 6 to 8 powered people, and one of them controls squirrels the whole time.
Maybe it fell into this kind of weird nebulous zone of like, well, obviously Disney Plus has the budget to make it if they wanted to, but at the same time it's just not quite up to Disney Plus standards, I could see it, because it seemed like they made this for like a network, right? It seemed like they were thinking network show when they first put this together.
Any new Disney Plus show going forward for Marvel, from my understanding, is owned by Marvel Studios. Marvel Entertainment, which was making this, will never make something for Disney Plus because it will never tie into the universe at large. So I think that's what has happened to this. They can't put it on Disney Plus because it doesn't fit Feige's vision for where the universe will go, but at the same time it's probably way too expensive for regular network television.
Wow.
Which is surprising because Hulu seems like the perfect home for this. Throw it on right beside Runaways for like a more funnier version of stuff to do. And I think it'd be perfect.
Or I'm surprised this didn't land on Freeform. This honestly seemed like a Freeform show from the very beginning, because I believe if we look back when these rumors started percolating and when this news broke, I think it was right around the time like Cloak and Dagger was coming out, and Freeform was rebranding. So I was like, oh, this is probably going to end up being a Freeform show, especially with the type of age range of the characters and the actors. So I'm just fascinated. This is not a good sign for New Mutants. I know this is a TV show with a significantly smaller budget, but if they're open to just kind of like tossing this to a side, this is not a good sign for New Mutants and what may or may not happen to that next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll still happen simply because there is marketing dollars behind it. But like, I forgot that Freeform signed off on this back in April of 2017 for 10 episodes, and they only did the pilot. So they were like, oh, well, we don't have room for it. So, I mean, it's just, I wish, like, I agree with you. I wish we could see what it is, and then people could vote on if they want, like, if you get enough views, maybe we'll turn it in, put it back on. But, like, it's just sad that we don't even get to see what they look like. Like, the characters.
We're going to have to set up a Google alert for New Warriors.
Yeah.
See if it ever comes to light.
God, this is where I really wish Reddit could put all their powers together and give us something to look at here.
Yeah, stop saving aliens from Area 51. Raid the Disney offices and get this pilot for us.
Yeah, go to. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Disney, it'd be Freeform. Go raid Freeform's offices and pull that thing. No one's guarding Freeform. Nobody cares.
Yeah, just walking. I saw, how people say you can walk in anywhere if you're holding a clipboard. I saw a video the other week where two dudes just carry a ladder, and that gets them literally into anywhere they want to go. If you just dress the same and you carry a ladder, people just assume you're there to fix something. So people put some hats on, put some work polos on, grab a ladder, and just walk into Freeform and get that pilot.
Yeah, it's all about confidence, Mike. If you have that confidence, you know where you want to go with that ladder, they'll probably let you go.
Just walk up to somebody that looks like they have seniority and say, we're going to need that new Warriors pilot if you want us to fix this light bulb. And just say it with confidence.
I will trade you this ladder for that new Warriors pilot right now, right here.
Yeah.
No taking
This is a solid ladder.
So, yeah, it's sad. But that's okay because Disney Plus does have some good quality shows coming out, including Loki, starring Tom Hiddleston from, all of his other times as Loki. And he promises this show will answer the following two questions, Mike, that everyone wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
Is Loki still alive or dead at the end of Infinity War, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where did he go with the Tesseract?
So the fact that it's going to be answered whether Loki is dead, it makes me think he is dead. Because if he was still alive, it just undercuts everything that happened in Infinity War.
There was a 5-year time jump. He would have popped out somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes me think if he is dead, I don't think that they're going to end that show on a bummer of just showing his dead corpse, And I would think if Loki needs to narrate at least possibly part of this, if that narration comes in the storytelling structure, maybe he's in the afterlife, you will. Maybe he's like palling around with Odin in however Marvel wants to show. Does it have a specific name? Because he probably didn't go to Valhalla, did he? Or maybe he did, since it was kind of a selfless act, or did he just go to the...
Well, he would have died in battle, so I assume so. But if there was no Valkyries to take him over there, then would he have actually made it? Because that's the whole point. The Valkyries take people to Valhalla. Maybe
this will be our first chance to see the personification of death in the show. Maybe this is just literally Loki sitting down and like having a coffee like with Death in the afterlife, and he's just like telling her of all the adventures that he went on. That actually be really cool. That'd be a really interesting storytelling mechanic. So I'm gonna pull for that. I want to see how they bring Death to life.
In my thoughts, you've actually made me think something. I think Loki, was tied to the Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness kind of thing. Like Loki stealing the Tesseract has caused another timeline to appear, right? All these different multiverses before they returned it. So that could be an opportunity where he's done something or put someone somewhere that's not supposed to be appearing later or being a villain. But at the same time, like maybe he helps lead into the Thor Love and Thunder a little bit. Maybe he's done something to ensure that there's a Thor or somebody later on in life. I don't know. Love and Thunder seems like it might open up the mythology a little bit more. Maybe he appears somewhere in there, and like you said, either like maybe he goes and takes over Hela's spot as the leader of Hell a little bit, the leader of the dead.
Speaking of Thor, I just read online that the reason Fat Thor was wearing gloves through the whole movie was to hide the seam of his fat suit. I thought that was a pretty clever practical way to be like, well, this is Marvel. We have billions of dollars. We could easily just smooth this seam in a computer. But then one of the Russo brothers just like, no, just put hobo gloves on them. We won't have to worry about this at all. So look out for those hobo gloves.
They were shooting that movie 4 years before it even came out. So they were like, we don't know how we're going to solve this yet. But maybe the technology will get there. I don't know. Put the gloves on him.
We can always remove the gloves in the computer.
Yeah.
Just that would be hilarious if originally they filmed it with the gloves and then they're like, no, we don't like the gloves. So they make like these CG rendered hands that put on them. So the whole movie, Chris Hemsworth has these fake hands, but like, no, we want the gloves back. Put computer generated gloves back on them. So, but they're just so good. They just look like they're real gloves.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't wait for that technology there for just, I have my phone app that puts gloves on my hands that look like Fat Thor's. So some nice augmented reality there. Also, I mean, this was in our notes because I couldn't find the article again, but the rumor is, and this is very, very sprinkle, like this is so much salt on it, Mike, it's cured. That's how much salt is on this rumor.
Okay.
That Keanu Reeves will be the villain in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'm not even putting this in there because I was just thinking about it, that he would play the character Nightmare. So because Keanu Reeves is going through the, like we saw the Keanu-sance right now, being the John Wick, the Baba Yaga, a villain, but who is technically a good guy because he's an assassin killing assassins kind of thing. That he would play a villain in that to like kind of give him a new role to play a little bit. But I mean, it was on a side I don't really trust that much, so that's why I'm like coding this insult.
Okay, so everybody knows I love John Wick. I love Keanu Reeves. I love the stuff that Keanu has put out into the world, but he's a very specific type of actor, just like The Rock is. Like The Rock and Keanu Reeves, I would not look at them and call them amazing actors. They're very great entertainers, and they have picked the right roles for themselves. So I can't in my head stretch Keanu into like different comic book roles. So if Keanu does end up in the MCU, I hope they put him in the perfect role for his type of acting. He has a very specific stage presence that they need to make sure that they match. So if that rumor does have a lot of salt on it, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him being a villain. Like you said, like he is when you see him on screen, he's playing Keanu Reeves. Like that's what he is. I mean,
he's just a cool dude.
but I mean, he also got to think he was in Bill and Ted's movies, right, where he was like the stoner dude. But then he was also in Point Break and The Matrix. So he can do multiple things. But I mean, I'll always imagine him, as the guy from Speed staring at the front of the bus, making sure it doesn't go, under 55 the whole time.
The bus that couldn't slow down.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think it'll be like I'm not living for it, but I just want to toss that out there while we were spitballing on some of these other shows. The trailer for the Infinity Saga was debuted by Marvel. This isn't on their site because I think they have to fix an error in one of the frames. But this trailer takes place. It literally, to me, again, spoilers, picks up from the defining final scenes of Endgame, right? The final, I guess, credits of Endgame, and then retells the story of 23 films. because it starts with the hammer sound of Tony Stark making the thing, and it actually goes through the beat a little bit. I really enjoyed the cuts for that at the start of the trailer, but it touches every movie ever made in there, and it's very, very. If you've seen all the movies, you'll appreciate all the moments in it, is what I can say. And I really enjoyed this trailer because it shows all the movies. It starts with Iron Man, ends with the most recent Far From Home.
So this was the trailer that they played in Hall H at Comic-Con, right?
I think similar to it, yes.
Yeah. So I when I was watching it, I was just imagining like being in a room with thousands of people, and they were all like freaking out because they're about to watch this amazing panel. But I think the craziest thing that you said is how much this box set might cost, which blew me away a little bit.
The rumored box set for the Infinity Saga, 23 movies, is around $800. Now, no one has seen this or said anything of it. It's just, that's the rumor. It'd be about $800, which comes out to what we said, Mike, $25 or $35 a movie if it's just straight movies.
Which seems crazy to me because usually a box set you get value in buying the movies, so I can't imagine why anybody, unless this box is like literally amazing, like the box itself is a collector's item, and it would have to be cooler than the briefcase. Maybe it's like a golden gauntlet, that somehow fits all of those movies inside of it. Which actually, if I think about it, if the gauntlet was accurate size, it could easily fit, all of those movies in it. But it seems like they're positioning this for the holiday season, so I would say $199. Which you think is too low, because it puts the movies at about $5 each.
Well, the Phase 1 box set is the fancy one in the case or whatever is still going for about $150 to $199. So to do all 3 phases, 23 movies, I just don't think 200 is feasible. Now, how about this? We split the difference, call it about 500.
Oh no! I think the best that they could hope is $299. I don't think they'll sell too many of these, but it doesn't even matter because I'm not gonna buy it. Like I would never spend that much money, especially since I just paid for 3 years at Disney Plus, and within those 3 years, all of these movies will end up on the service anyway.
Right, exactly. I'm hoping, again, I talked about this, we get the glove, right? The nice glove, and it's a cheaper version because it's just the digital code. So when you open the glove, all these little paper codes fall out with all the redeemable codes that you just put in there. I'm looking here right now just to say, I was in Best Buy earlier today, Mike, right? And they have the steelbooks for all these movies, and they're re-releasing older steelbooks. If you want to get the 4-movie collection steelbook of the Avengers together, it's $150 for 4 movies. Which is completely ridiculous in my book. But that comes out to like $35 a piece, and that's me, the physical one, buying there. So if they had the physical 4K Blu-rays, Mike, 4K, right, completely right there, and a digital redemption code, do you think that raises the value?
I suppose it does. I think what's really going to push this, I think 2 things push this thing. Just a cool ass looking box set, like things that people really want on their shelf. Yeah. And then also exclusive bonus features, like just stuff you're not going to see anywhere else. But also at the same time, those bonus features will be on YouTube within a week. Not on official sources, but they'll make it online eventually.
Yeah. And this is, we've already seen one with the Nick Fury, never before deleted scene in talking about Spider-Man and mutants last week. I want to see how much it is, but is it something that I would pay extra for rather than just wait around somewhere else?
Whenever we figure out what the box is, we will let you know on the show, because I really want to know what the box is actually going to be.
I wanted, like, what I hate, I'm going to tell you this right now, as someone who collects my Marvel movies physically, right, and other ones, what I hate most about box sets are when it's a cheap plastic outside of the case, and then they've just stacked the movies on like those little extra tall spindles in the middle where you like stack 3 on top of each other, and you have to take them out. I'm like, I want each movie to feel like its own thing rather than just we shoved it in this because we want it to fit on your shelf.
Yeah, especially if you're going to charge me $800.
Yeah, and I think that may, again, that's not official price, but I think if you went and buy every 4K movie right now, that's what it would cost you. So
then, in some parts of the country, $800 is a mortgage payment for people. So it better have love for each individual disc.
Yeah, and if you haven't bought, the hardest part for me is like I already own all of them. Like what's the value me from rebuying them? Like, do they have a trade-in? Can I do some trade-in? Can I just send in my old movies and they send me, some credit for this box set? Because damn, son, damn. But yes. Also, one of the favorite lines from Age of Ultron is, Vision saying the thing isn't beautiful just because it exists, is in this during the Spider-Man clips, by the way, just to let you know. Like, oh, we have to make sure we let people know Spider-Man's probably not going to be around any longer. But here he is in our Infinity Saga trailer. Speaking of Spider-Man Far From Home, alongside that, we get to see our first trailer for the upcoming Night Monkey movie. I'm kidding, but they did a Night Monkey trailer to promote Spider-Man on digital and upcoming home release, which is wild.
Yeah. It's pretty fun. They're having fun with it. I mean, it's not too surprising. Sony had fun with their Venom trailers, when it was coming out. So at least they have some creative editors over there at Sony.
Yeah. Was it Boyfriend Venom? Wasn't that the Chinese thing they did for a while?
Yeah.
That was
now
weird.
It's Night Monkey.
That was
Night Monkey meets Boyfriend Venom.
Yeah, and we talked about this. Like, it's not any new footage. It's just they took clips from.
There's enough Night Monkey.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Something I really enjoy, Mike, are pop vinyls. You know this. This. I could probably sell all these and maybe buy that Infinity box set, one day. But however, Warner Brothers is starting to make a movie for Funko Pops, and I will tell you I'm not thrilled about this idea.
Me neither.
But they have enlisted, to help persuade people, they've enlisted Oscar-nominated Pixar director and designer Teddy Newton, who's worked on The Incredibles, and also, before that, The Iron Giant, which people enjoy. To work on the story with Mark Dindal, who's known for he's a Disney guy who worked on The Emperor's New Groove and some other movies.
Well, I mean, I love all of those 3 movies that you just dropped, but in my opinion, Funko Pops do not have expressive eyes, and I'm just trying to imagine those Funko Pops translating to the big screen, because they have done animated shorts, and they're cute, they're fun, they're clever, but I've never really feel drawn to any of them. Have you seen any of the shorts that have voice acting? To them?
Yeah, I've seen a few. I think a couple of the Marvel ones use the movie quotes from them, I think, but I've seen a couple of the later ones.
Yeah, but I've only ever seen like the silent ones, like where the toys don't talk.
Yeah, so the thing is that I don't like about those is I can obviously from being a marketing person tell that someone hired a third-party company to make these quick videos, right? These cheap, like these are on par with Beast Wars from the 90s or reboot animation from television in the 90s, right? Someone cranked these out on Fiverr is what it looks like. Now, if Warner Brothers puts actual budget behind it and makes it cool and makes everything lived in, I think they could. They did it with Lego Movie and Lego Batman, right?
It's not impossible, but if somebody was to ask me my opinion, that's kind of where my head goes of like, I just don't see it.
But there are literally dozens upon thousands of these pop vinyls and different variations. So what is the story? What actually matters here? Is it just the Lego Movie retold as like a generic pop vinyl that nobody bought who decides he is the special or something like that? I don't know.
I definitely need more information. That is for sure. There's not enough to go off of here. But I love The Emperor's New Groove. It's my favorite animated movie.
Yeah, so it's there's some talent here, but is the property enough to warrant a viewing? Now, I will say, a listener of the show, friend of mine, Patrick Foster, he said that apparently there's a Funko card game that's coming out, or a board game. You play smaller versions of the figures, and it's like I don't know how it works, but he says that it is getting like universal praise for this Funko game.
Cool.
Which is interesting to me because right now all they have is like DC, I think Harry Potter. There might be a Golden Girls version. Like they're choosing very specific properties they can do this with to start. When I want to do Marvel, what I would love to do is actually be able to use my pop vinyls as the characters to play with rather than the ones that come with the game.
Oh, smart.
But I don't think they're going to do that. So
you're just going to have to play Monopoly and just throw out the shoe and use your pop vinyl.
They have pop vinyl Monopoly, I think, somewhere as well. It's just, I'm just not happy with it. But anyway, pop vinyls. There's a bunch coming out this fall if you're looking to get anyone any Christmas gifts. Lastly, Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi's upcoming movie where he plays Hitler himself, has taken home the People's Choice Award, the coveted top award at the Toronto Film Festival this week.
It's just weird talking about Hitler on the podcast out of the context of Captain America.
Yeah.
So Taika Waititi brings that to the show for you. But yeah, we love Taika over here, so crossing my fingers that this is fun.
Yeah. So other fun facts about the people who won other movies that won this award recently include La La Land and Green Book, which both took home Best Picture awards at the Academy Awards, which doesn't mean anything unless they want to get people to watch it. But I mean, if it's got this much, I guess, clout behind it already, we may be seeing or hearing more of this, upcoming award season early next year. So I'm a little more excited to see this than some other movies this fall. So maybe they'll give me something good to see in that October.
Take that, Akira. he decided to make a Hitler movie instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't instead, but yes. I mean, he can do a Hitler movie. He can probably do Akira, Mike. I mean, he can pull off Hitler and make people enjoy him. That's new.
He could do anything.
He can do anything, especially do the next Thor movie. Give Thor a 4th movie. Who else got a 4th movie? Not Captain America, not Iron Man, that's for sure. But Thor, he's our guy. 4 more years of Thor. Anyway, Mike, that's our show. Wrapping it up there on a good note. On a funny note, humorous note. But if people want to know what you're up to, where can they go see your Harry Potter comic you just threw up online? And all that other fun stuff.
Oh, well, I put it everywhere I can. So you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter. And you can read that specific webcomic and all of my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, see what you're up to these days, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Valdan, VALDAN. But as I told Mike earlier, I wasn't really on there a lot this week. So I missed his comic until he told me about it before the show started. You can also catch me on Instagram, Valdan87. Or head over to Comic UI and do that. So that's it for me right now. Mike, if people want to know what we're up to, what we're doing, when we're doing our next episode, where can they find that at?
Oh, it's so easy. All you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. That's the best place to find all of our links and to get our awesome show notes. So if you want to see those trailers for the Infinity Saga or the Night Monkey trailer or the links to those Birds of Prey title cards, we got all that in our show notes. So go check that out at superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. We love it when you guys reach out. Thanks, Jim, for linking us to that animated series intro redone in the Arkham style. Love weird stuff like that. Really fun. Makes me want to go watch some more Red vs. Blue. Man, I've been out of the loop of that show forever. So I don't even know if I could even possibly catch up. But we love hearing from you. We also love our super fans. So if you want to be a super fan of this show, it's very, very easy. All you got to do is share the show with a friend. Share the show with a buddy. And we will be here every week. And stay tuned as we count down the days until candy corn season is upon us. And then shortly after that, we'll talk about Joker.
Yeah, shortly after. That's next month. Really early next month. But yeah, we're excited, and we'll catch you guys next week.
On the flippity, bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
I'm like, it's open dancing.
Hey, you said you should have been more specific with the word open.
Yeah.